RJ's Bargain Center.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, founder and CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jalen Gillis. You may know me from Centex Sports Network. We're starting a new platform, Recruit 254. Our mission is to highlight the amazing student athletes of 254. So if you're in the Waco, Killeen, Temple, Mart, Marlin, or any surrounding 254 areas, follow this platform and join the movement. Recruit 254. 254, let's run it up. Topics in sports, not just here in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. Folks, we want to thank everybody for tuning in with us today. We've got a special episode ready for you guys here today. We've got high school football starting tonight as Midway taking on another team out of Round Rock, and all the games we have going on tomorrow as week 2 is officially kicking off here tonight in Central Texas. On the college side, we've got Baylor SMU, an old Southwestern Conference matchup. We'll talk about that game and break that down a little bit coming up soon. Also, of course, the game that all of you guys will be tuned into tonight, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk about that game and that matchup tonight. And we'll also check in on some of the games going on for this weekend, whether that is college or the NFL. Week 1 kicking off in the NFL. If you guys are like me, you're trying to get your fantasy football lineups together, make sure everybody's locked in place so you don't have any mishaps. In one of my leagues, I got Dak starting tonight. So, Dak, come on, man. We need you to go ahead and do your thing here tonight for the Dallas Cowboys against the Eagles. So, we got a lot to talk about here today. We want to thank everybody for joining in with us here today on Centex Primetime. Yesterday, you guys got to see the debut on Centex Sports Network of MCC Volleyball. Their new volleyball team fell short in a ranked matchup versus Weatherford yesterday. They get another chance. 2 games this weekend. On Friday, they'll play at 3 o'clock, and on Saturday, they'll play on 1 o'clock. As always, you'll be able to catch all the action right here on Centex Sports Network. Also, on our website, centexsportsnetwork.com. So make sure you guys go over there, check us out. Free subscription, get signed up. Just need your name and your email. It's MCC Volleyball in full effect. Also, we'll have some more things coming up tomorrow as we have Friday Night Flex, week 2 of Friday Night Flex starting tomorrow as we sit and cover all of the games here in the Central Texas area. We'll give you guys pregame analysis. We'll give you guys updates throughout the games, and we'll also give you guys some post-game towards the end of the night as well. Friday Night Flex, you're home to be able to watch and catch all things Central Texas high school football right here at Centex Sports Network. So we've got a lot to dive into today, folks. As I said, full schedule for this weekend. I am just glad that football season is back. It's the best time of year. We get football from Thursday through Monday from here until about January. So it's always a good thing when we can have that. We got NFL football on a Friday night. So multiple things will be going on as they're playing in Brazil once again. I believe Chiefs and the Chargers will be playing in Brazil to start off their season on Friday night as well. Well, folks, I want to jump straight into it. High school football starts tonight. Don't even have to wait till Friday night lights to be able to catch some high school football. So let's go through some of these games that I like for this weekend. First off, the game that is starting tonight, Midway Panthers taking on Round Rock Cedar Ridge tonight at 7 o'clock at the Reeves Complex. This Cedar Ridge team is 1-0 as well as the Midway Panthers. They're coming off of a victory against Round Rock Westwood last week. Cedar Ridge coming off of a win as well. Their quarterback, Snoga, threw for almost 200 yards last week in the game as well, and they rushed for 184 yards in their win against Johnson as well. So this is an offense that Midway's going to have to come out and compete with on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. They're going to compete with these guys as Cedar Ridge looking to pick up another win. On Midway side, the Midway Panthers are 1-0. It's good to have that feeling of being 1-0 again. Coach Joe Gillespie, who took over for the Midway Panthers last year, has done a phenomenal job last year and starting off this year. So far, so good as they're 1-0 heading into this matchup on Thursday. They start the season off with 3 or 4 Thursday games in a row. Now, I'm not exactly used to that, and I know that for the kids, they might be thrown off a little bit. But it's fun because you get a chance to play a day early. You get a chance for most of your family and friends get a chance to come because they don't have to compete and split up on Friday nights. Midway opens up the season with 3 Thursday night games in a row. This game against Cedar Ridge is going to be dependent on, I feel like, Midway's offense. If Midway can get the same or similar type of production out of the offense that they had last week, I think these guys are going to be okay. Andrew Air McNair is what I called him. 12 for 17 for 233 yards in their win last week. Also chipped in with 3 touchdowns as well. Lathan Wyson, the 4-star running back, the guys that's got offers from each part of the country, just about from every Power 4 conference as well. Only 7 carries for 76 yards. Light work in their last game. He should be fresh and ready to go for this game coming up. But I'm excited to see the newcomer to the varsity for the Midway Panthers, and that's Jaden Fields Vaughn. Last week he got in what I guess people would call garbage time. This is garbage time. But you got to make the most of the opportunities, especially on Friday nights. Early into the season, you could get called up at any moment from JV. If you're riding the bench on varsity, you could get called up at any moment. This early in the season, we haven't really experienced injuries or anything like that. This guy got his number called, got his name called to check into the game. 6 carries for 195 yards, 4 touchdowns. I'm excited to see this kid play once again out of the backfield. Jaden Fields Vaughn on limited carries is an understatement. The dude only touched the ball 6 times. He housed it 4 of those times. And, yeah, you could say it was in garbage minutes, maybe he wasn't playing. It don't matter who it is. It could have been against the JV. You touch the ball 6 times and score 4 times, you're doing something right. I'm excited to see this Midway offense not only on Friday, but to grow throughout the season. If Andrew McNair and Lathan Wyson can kind of carry this offense going forward, they've got a stable of receivers. They got multiple guys they can go to at the receiving end for Midway. Running back room is full. Lathan Wyson, Jaden Fields Vaughn. This Midway team is a really fun watch. I'm excited to be able to watch them tonight versus Cedar Ridge. I've got the Panthers coming out with a victory in today's game. I got Midway coming out with the victory playing Cedar Ridge. They're on the road once again. Haven't got a chance to play at home just yet. Sometimes the road brings your team closer together. You guys get to travel. You get to be with each other pretty much the entire day. And when you go into that stadium, everybody in the stadium, most of the people in the stadium are rooting against you. that's the kind of stuff that brings teams together, man. I'm excited to watch this Midway Panther team to be able to rock out against Cedar Ridge this weekend. This game is going to be probably the biggest one of the weekend here in the Central Texas area, and that is the La Vega Pirates taking on Salina. Now, Salina is one of the top-ranked teams in the state. Salina is coming off of a 16-0 season last season. You heard that right, 16-0 season last season. They have not lost a game since November 24th, 2023. This Salina team has almost went 2 years without losing a game if they make it all the way to November without losing once again. Now, the Pirates, coming off of a state championship title chance, as they were the runner-ups in the state championship game in 4A Division II last year. We know what La Vega likes to do. We know what Coach Don Hod likes to do. They're going to pack this pre-district schedule. Yes, it might seem off-putting to some of the fans or some other people like, man, they're playing top-notch teams every single week in the pre-district schedule. Well, that's how you get prepared for district play. That's how you get prepared for late October, early November, early December. That's how you make it that far into the playoffs, is by testing your team, pushing your limits in the pre-district, and Coach Hyde and the La Vega Pirates are a testimony to that. Every single year we see this La Vega team pack their pre-district schedule with super tough teams, because it's not just the Salina team that they're taking on that's going to be tough. They got a tough schedule moving forward for the rest of the pre-district and really for the rest of the year, because for those of you that's watched, we talk about this District 12 4A Division II here in the Central Texas area. I think is top to bottom one of the most competitive and one of the most talented districts in the state out of any classification. They start off against Salina tomorrow. Right after that, West Orange Stark. Right after that, Brownwood. Right after that, Stephenville. So their pre-district is packed with extremely, extremely competitive teams. Most of those guys are ranked. Obviously, Salina, Stephenville ranked once again. These are really tough teams, and La Vega doesn't mind playing these teams, win, lose, or draw, because the experience is what's going to help these guys in the end. Now, this is going to be an extremely tough matchup as they go out to play Salina on the road at that. They're playing at Salina High School. A tough matchup for the Pirates, but the Pirates had another good outing this past weekend against Kennedale as they came out and dominated from start to finish. They got a 41-3 win in their last week's victory over Kennedale. Dominant from start to finish. Defense was able to help them win the games. Special teams was a huge part of the La Vega Pirates winning this game. Elbert, as Rocky would call you, who you guys hear on Friday Night Flex all the time and right here on Centex Primetime, he calls him Elbert the Hammer Jones. He had a 60-yard kickoff return in that game. Also, Marquay Willis returned a punt for 52 yards in this game. If they can get that type of production in the special teams, everybody expects to see La Vega come out and run the football. Everyone in the stadium is going to be expecting for Jabari Thornton to get the ball and for him to try to go yard every time he touches it. It's those little things that La Vega is great at that helps them be able to get these victories, not only in the pre-district but in district and in the playoffs. If they can compete like they did last week on the special teams, I think La Vega will be in good shape, even though they're playing on the road against the Salina Bobcats team that has not lost, I have to say it again, has not lost a game since November 24th of 2023. Most of y'all don't remember what happened in November 2024. In 2023 is the last time that the Salina Bobcats have lost, man. This is a really great team. Obviously, they've got state championship aspirations as they're looking to go back-to-back after winning it all last year. This is going to be a great game. Like I said, probably the premier game out of the Central Texas teams, especially in this greater Waco area, the premier game between these two top-ranked state-ranked matchup here with the Salina Bobcats and the La Vega Pirates. That game is going to be at 7 o'clock, kicking off in Salina. So make sure you guys are supporting these guys, supporting this team. This is another game that I cannot wait to see because this star power on both sides. We talked about La Vega with Jabari Thornton, who's headed to Oklahoma State. Courtney Parr, who's going to be a D1 talent just now going into his junior year. The stable of running backs that they have. On the other side, playmakers like Marquay Willis. I mean, they got guys all over the place for this La Vega team, coached by Coach Hyde, who we know does a great job with the defense as well. Defense is going to have their hands full in this game as they're playing against Bo Bentley, the quarterback that's already committed to Oklahoma in this game. He threw for 3,300 yards last year and 47 touchdowns on their state championship run. He's committed to the University of Oklahoma. This guy's no joke whatsoever. They also have a big target in tight end Wyatt Villarreal, who is headed to Pittsburgh as well. These guys are a loaded offense. Bentley will get the ball out to multiple different targets. Coming out of the backfield, they got Logan Gutierrez, who rushed for 1,500 yards and 21 touchdowns last year in their undefeated season. So they're returning a lot of firepower. Bringing your quarterback back, bringing your star tight end back, bringing your star running back back. La Vega's going to have their hands full, but I expect this to be a knockout, drag-out fight, a heavyweight fight between these two heavyweight teams in the state of Texas. So I'm super excited about that one. Can't wait to be able to watch it. University is playing against Granbury, looking for their first win. University on the road once again. They start off on the road. I believe the first 3 weeks of the season they'll be playing on the road. University taking on the Granbury team that just beat Waco High, one of their crosstown rivals last week. They got some good production out of their quarterback Reeves, who threw for almost 250 yards in their game, in their win versus Waco High last week. This is a team that did not run the ball a lot. Only 51 rushing yards for Granbury in their win versus Waco High. So they're going to test them through the air, and we know University's strong point of their defense is the secondary. Now, University is coming off of a loss to a tough Keller Central team. University is the star-studded team. They're a team that's coming in with a lot of expectation, a team that's coming in with a lot of talent. But that talent has got to meet the preparation this weekend against Granbury, and I believe it will. The offense struggled last week against Keller Central, playing on the road to start the season off. Looks like guys weren't completely in sync. But one thing I can expect out of this University team is a good rebound. I expect these guys to come back and be able to rebound, get back in the win column this coming up weekend playing against Granbury. Granbury, like I said, already got a win in Waco. You don't want to let these guys come through and get a win against both WISD teams, and I don't expect Coach Foster to be looking forward to that or be looking to do that. I think he's expecting this team to come out and play harder, give a better effort on the offensive end, give a better effort on the defensive end, being able to stop the run, being able to let their star-studded secondary go out there and do what they do, and that's make plays on the ball. Last year, this University team caught 20 interceptions on the defensive side of the ball, 20 picks. A lot of those guys are returning this year. I'm expecting them to rebound in this game against Granbury and expecting them to come out and have some success. Running the ball for the University Trojans, I think, is going to be essential to calm the young QB, Savoy Nichols, down and let him create a rhythm. I feel like last week he was never able to get in the rhythm. He threw a couple of picks. He was outside of the pocket a lot. If he can stay solid within the pocket and they can establish a running game. Last week, the Trojans rushed for 150 yards. Brown chipped in with 52 yards, and then Thomas also led the way with 93 yards as well and a couple of touchdowns. If they can continue to run the ball, if they can get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, like a London Smith, the Baylor commit, I think University is going to be fine, man. They take on this Granbury team tomorrow at 7 o'clock at Granbury. Like I said, playing on the road once again. The U-Dogs going to be on the road a lot to start the season off. This time, I think they're going to come out with the win. This is another really good matchup. China Spring versus Bastrop. Bastrop coming into this game 1-0. China Spring coming into this game 1-0. Bastrop is coming off of a win as they beat Alvin 55-14. So we know they're feeling good about themselves. The offense was humming last week. They get a chance to play against China Spring, who's also got a lot of confidence, who's also happy to be back at home as they were on the road taking on the number 2 team in 3A Division I in the Franklin Lions. China Spring was able to come out with the victory in that game, 42-28. taking on another state-ranked opponent. And as we broke down last week on Friday Night Flex and even after the game, we didn't expect this China Spring team to be down long. We knew Coach Betty was going to be able to get these guys turned around, get these guys back playing football the way that we're used to. I have China Spring winning this game against Bastrop for a couple of reasons. One, the coaching. Two, being at home. If y'all haven't been to a game at China Spring, it's rowdy. They have the lights that go on and off. It looks like a light show every time China Spring scores. Their scoreboard is nice out there. The field is nice. It's a great environment. It's a great Friday night football environment out there at China Spring, and it is most definitely an advantage. I've been and called a few of those games at China Spring when I was calling Conley games, and China Spring and Conley would match up. All types of talent on the field, D1 guys on both sides of the field. That's a great atmosphere to be able to watch a game in out there at China Spring. I think that's definitely an advantage. And the number three, and their main reason I give them an advantage, is because they have the guy that I'd had as the Centex Sports Network Player of the Week this last week, and that just about everybody had as their Player of the Week for this last week, and that's Kashawn Gregory. China Spring has had a run of running backs for the last few years, especially as they've had success. Last year, Kyle Barton was really successful. They've had a string, is what it seems like, of really good running backs out there at China Spring. Kashawn Gregory is already the next great back out there at China Spring. Last week, 25 touches, 24 carries, 1 catch, 25 touches, over 400 yards of total offense. This guy carried the ball for 24 times for 337 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then he gets 1 catch, just 1 catch. He takes that to the house for 80 yards. Kashawn Gregory is a baller, and as I spoke last week on the show, it's not like he's doing this against, subpar talent. They're playing a Franklin team that just went to 4 state championship games. That's who he was able to put up 400 yards of offense on. So Bastrop, I think this will be a good game. It'll be a competitive game. Last year, China Spring just barely snuck by these guys. I believe a 27-24 win against Bastrop last year. One of China Spring's 2 wins. They only won 2 games last year. China Spring has, I think, is going to completely turn their season this year around. They had a young team, Jackson Knapp, starting at quarterback this year. Young offensive line. Everybody was kind of wondering, is China Spring going to get back to where we're used to seeing with this young team? I'm here to tell you now, China Spring is back. China Spring is back, and I expect them to pick up a victory this weekend against Bastrop, playing over there at home. The Conley Cadets taking on Lago Vista in what is going to be senior night for the Cadets. They've moved their senior night up to the beginning of the season instead of the end of the season like a lot of guys do it. The Cadets are coming off of a victory, 33-29, a 33-29 victory over Little River Academy last week. Now they're taking on this Lago Vista team that is also undefeated. Conley, you can say the same thing about them almost every year for the last 4 or 5 years. Talent. They've got talent on both sides of the ball, all over the field. Jamarian Vincent, the highest rated player in the Waco area, playing receiver, playing corner, playing safety. He does it all. And the stats reflected as he does it all out there on the field for the Cadets. Last week, 5 catches, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had 7 tackles, a tackle for loss, and 1 fumble return on defense as well. He does everything for the Cadets. Jamarian Vincent is most definitely the starter to the engine that is the Conley Cadets on both sides of the ball. They're going to have a well-coached defense under Coach Garrick, as they always do. Their offense actually switched it up a little bit from what we're used to. They came out last week and was throwing the ball. We're used to an extreme run-heavy offense from this Conley Cadet team just historically. Dating back to when I first started covering the Cadets in about 2018, and they had a kid named Javion Sunday that was a monster. This has always been a run-first team. And the running backs, they've had a great running backs. We talked about the great running backs that China Spring has had. The Cadets have had a really, really great run of backs over the last, 6-7 years. Javion Sunday, they go from him to Trey Wisner, who you'll be seeing play, and you see play every Saturday at the University of Texas. Kiefer Sibley, who you'll see playing on Saturdays at the University of North Texas. And now they backdoor Jamarian Vincent gets some carries, but they've got a bell cow back at Conley. They've got a bell cow back, and his name is Braden Ford. Last year, Braden Ford kind of burst onto the scene. I don't want to say caught some people off guard because the Cadets always have a good running game, but caught some people off guard with his abilities running the football. He picked right back up where he left off last year. Last week in their win in what was a really, really good game against Little River Academy, a back-and-forth game. I believe Academy led in the fourth quarter. Conley had to end up coming back in that game. In that game, Braden Ford, 15 carries, 172 yards, and a touchdown. Instant offense. The guy's instant offense. He's a bell cow back. He's an every down back for these guys. Braden Ford did a phenomenal job last year. He's building on that again this year. I think he's going to be special. I think this Conley offense is going to be special if they're throwing the ball like they were last year. They've got another Kaufman, like I said on the show a couple of days ago. If you cover Conley football or watch Conley football, they've always got a Kaufman or two on their team. Caden Kaufman stepped in at quarterback, and he looked good. He looked good in their win versus Little River Academy last week, throwing for over 200 yards. He's got top-tier playmakers on the outside to be able to throw the ball too. All he's got to do is let the ball go. He was able to do that last week, throwing, like I said, for over 200 yards in their victory. I like the Cadets, man. I like the Cadets this year. I like the Cadets in this game as well against Lago Vista, expecting them to come out with the win as they're playing at home. And as I said, it's senior night. Some extra added motivation for the Cadets to be able to go out there and get a victory, man. So excited to watch the Cadets be able to play tomorrow. That game is at 7 o'clock as they're taking on Lago Vista. Waco High and Corsicana. Waco High looking to get into the win column. Coach Martinez in his first year there at Waco High trying to turn this program around, but as I said before, it is not going to be an overnight process. So we have Rocky on here last week talking about these guys and talking about Coach Martinez and talking about the Waco High program. He reiterated, along with Wayne Walker, that this is not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to get ugly before it gets pretty. And I believe that the Waco High Lions have nowhere to go from here but up as they're trying to rebuild this program. They got a brand new school, state-of-the-art facilities in that brand new school, and I believe that is going to be that attraction that gets kids to want to play for Waco High again. We remember, most people remember Waco High in the 80s and the 90s dominating. The early 2000s had some dominant teams. They're looking to get back to that, and Coach Martinez could be the guy for the job. It's got to start against teams like Corsicana. Corsicana is a team also looking for their first win of the season, also a team that's not predicted to get a lot of wins. They've got to be able to go out and get a victory this weekend against the Corsicana team. The quarterback, Brian Whitaker, was kind of a do-it-all for their offense last week. He threw a touchdown, threw for 142 yards, also led the team in rushing with 93 yards. If he can continue to play well, I think the Waco High offense will start to get it together. They've got some guys on the defensive side of the ball like Jalen Good that can make some plays, that can help his team get stops. I like Waco High this weekend versus a Corsicana team that's also looking for their first win. One more here before we go into a break. This is one of my favorite teams to watch so far this year, and they're also in District 12 in 4A Division II. The Robinson Rockets, man. I think Robinson really has lightning in a bottle this year. With Bryce McCurdy under center, with Evan Marino toting the rock, man, these guys can be special. Robinson is a team that kind of snuck up on guys last year. Everybody wasn't expecting them to be ranked, especially not to be the first team out of that District 12 that was ranked. They were ranked for a few weeks there. They're looking to get back to. I'm looking for them to get back to that. Bryce McCurdy last week, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Evan Marino, the do-it-all back, the guy that I think is probably going to lead the league. He's going to lead the Greater Waco / Central Texas area in rushing. He was right up there last year. I believe the running back Smith from Gatesville was able to get that rushing title last year. But Evan Marino was right on his heels. When you have an every down back like Marino that's got the ability to take it to the house, to break away at any point, I think this Robinson offense is going to be fun to watch. This is a really fun team, new head coach that's looking to do some big things. I like Robinson going forward this year. This just makes for really, really great football in October as we get into district play in District 12. We just talked about La Vega. We just talked about China Spring. Robinson is in there. Gatesville is undefeated right now, looking to get another win this weekend. This conference is loaded, or this district, I mean. This district is loaded in District 12 with talent all over the place. I think this weekend Robinson gets another win, taking on another team that's undefeated in Caldwell as they're looking to get another win. They 1-0 right now. Caldwell coming off of a victory against Crockett, 47-32. So their offense was going, their offense was humming. Their quarterback only threw for 71 yards in that game, but Caldwell rushed for 300 yards. 300 yards on 32 carries is what they rushed for in their win versus Crockett. So this is a team that's going to put the ball on the ground. They want to control pace. They want to run the football. Wear down your defensive line and your defense and be able to control the game is what Caldwell is looking to do. On the other side, Robinson looking to do the same. They want to run the ball. They want to get the ball to Evan Marino. They want Bryce McCurdy to get the ball to his weapons, to those playmakers he's got on the outside like Medlock, to his running back in Evan Marino. So this is going to be a clash here in what I think is probably a top 3 game for this weekend, with Robinson and Caldwell being able to match up this weekend. That game is at 7:30, I believe, at Robinson, as Robinson is at home this time, looking to defend their home turf, pick up their first home win of the season. That is the game happening, like I said, at 7:30 tomorrow. Those are some of the games that I like for this weekend in Friday Night Football. As always, make sure you guys tune in to Friday Night Flex starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow, as we'll give you guys more analysis on pregame. We'll break down some more of these games. We'll give you some more post-game analysis as well, and we'll also give you guys something to watch and something to keep you updated while the games are going on. If you're not at the game, if you know somebody that's not going to be at the game and they just want to keep up with what's going on around Central Texas, tell them to tune in to Friday Night Flex right here on Centex Sports Network, starting at 6 o'clock, 6 to 10 p.m. On tomorrow night. These are some of the other games going on that I did not mention for tomorrow. Temple taking on Round Rock at Dragon Stadium. Temple 1-0, looking to pick up their second win. Belton and Georgetown duking it out in Georgetown on Friday at 7 o'clock. Gatesville and Glen Rose. This is not a game that I brought up, but another game that I will be tuned into. Gatesville has some guys on their offense. Their quarterback, Gary Keaton, 14-19 for 314 yards and 4 touchdowns last week. 4 touchdowns is what he threw for. This Gatesville offense is going to be ready to go. We know Glen Rose always has a pretty good team as well. Lorena taking on Malakoff. Lorena lost to one of the ranked teams in TAPS last week in Austin Regents in what was a shootout. This Lorena offense is special. Lorena can do big things. Brody DeLeon running the ball. He rushed for almost 300 last week in their loss. Jackson Blanket threw the ball for 310 yards. Carson Miller caught 10 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and almost 200 yards. Fully loaded offense out there, Lorena. They're taking on Malakoff. West taking on Addison Trinity at Addison Trinity. Whitney taking on Fort Worth Benbrook on the road tonight at 7:30. So we get another Thursday night game. That Whitney team is another good one. They've got multiple playmakers on their team. I mean, Fisher Watson, their quarterback, threw for 240 yards and 3 touchdowns last week, and also ran the ball for 3 touchdowns as well. They've got some guys that can do it all. Kobe Haynes, this guy I talk about a lot on this show when bringing up this Whitney team, catching for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. He's a baller. He's a stud. He's a guy that's got offers from multiple different schools. Baylor got in on him early. I'm hoping that's a kid that they can keep home because he can make plays on whatever side of the ball they put him on, but especially with the ball in his hands. So Whitney and Fort Worth Benbrook, that should be a really good game as well. McGregor taking on Grosbeck, as both of those two looking to get into the win column next week or tomorrow. Fairfield versus Mahia, a rivalry game. That should be a really fun one. Fairfield looking to be 2-0. Mejia looking for their first win. That game is at 7 o'clock. Teague and Toller matching up at Toller tomorrow at 7. Cameron Yo, the Yeoman, taking on Sealy. Sealy looking to pick up their second win of the season. The Yeoman trying to get back in the win column. That game is at 7:30 tomorrow at Sealy. Hillsborough and Troy, another I-35 battle. Last week, Troy was in an I-35 battle with Salado. This week, it's the other way in Hillsborough. Hillsborough looking to pick up their second win of the season. Troy still looking to get into the win column. On some of the lower levels, Early and Hamilton will match up. Axtell versus Cairns will match up at 7 o'clock tonight. Milano and Bosqueville. Bosqueville looking to pick up their second win. Leon and Dawson, both 1-0, will play tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Frost versus Itasca at 7:30 tomorrow. Holland and Valley Mills at 7. Marlin and Honeygrove. Marlin looking to get into the win column. They started off the season ranked. They want to prove why they got that ranking early on. They want to pick up a win against Honeygrove this weekend. That game is tonight at 7 o'clock at Corsicana. Crawford and Centerville. Should be a really good one. Crawford 1-0 along with Centerville 1-0. They'll play tomorrow at 7:30 at Centerville. We've had a chance to go out to that stadium in Centerville. Make sure you guys got your hiking shoes on if you have to go up high in that stadium because there's some steep stairs in there. Bruceville Eddy versus Barlett. Moody will take on Heiko. Riesel will play Blooming Grove at 7. Grapeland will take on Bremont. Bremont, another top state ranked team, and I believe 2A Division I. They're looking to get another win. Italy versus Chitlin. Should be a good one. Both teams undefeated. Mart taking on Maypearl as the Mart Panthers looking to get back into the win column. Folks, those are some of the games lined up for tonight and for Friday. We've got a few games going on tonight. I spoke about Midway earlier. That game will be over on YouTube. I'll be tuning in there to see my nephew be able to put some work in, man, tonight at 7 o'clock. Make sure you guys tune in to Friday Night Flex tomorrow to catch all your coverage for these games, pre, post-game, and during. Folks, we're getting ready to go into a break. When we come back, college football week 2 is right here on us. Baylor starts it all off on Saturday at 11 o'clock as they play SMU. We'll break that game down, and we'll break down some more of the fun ones. And stay tuned. We got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys versus the Eagles tonight as well and give you guys some what to look for in week 1 of the NFL season. You're watching Centex Primetime right here on Centex Sports Network. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
I've looked back at MCC with all these kids coming out here, these men and women starting their lives out here, starting their dreams and their visions of what they want to do for their family. It's the foundation for our community.
The plan is to go win.
Yes, sir.
Our girls set a goal that they wanted to win a national championship. They wanted to win a conference championship. That's been on the table from day one. And now we put ourselves in a position to do that.
Pitch hit in the air and deep to left field. Going back is Rayvon Morgan at the wall. He leaps and he makes the catch for the third out.
On the line, too much to give in. If you think it's over, then let's start it again. The planets alive, the stars burn bright. The sun goes down, we keep going all night. Going back down, the moment is now. Don't miss out, we're never turning around. The light is young.
going back, can't get to it. It'll go all the way to the wall. One run is scored. Now the kids coming home to score is Aiden Cooney.
Catch me if you can. We're renegades.
It's this one here in right field. It is treetop call and over the wall.
We're renegades. We're renegades. We're renegades. Listen up, listen up.
Hits the first pitch down the right field side. That's going to be it. Touching third and coming home is the winning run, Carson Croca. Give a RBI double to Blake Hansen. And the Highlanders walk it off and win by a score of 10-9.
We're renegades.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis still here, hour number 2 of the show. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here today and all week long. We've had a lot of fun up here on Centex Primetime this week. Earlier in the week, you got to hear me and Wayne giving some recap of last weekend's games. Now I'm giving you a lead-in to this weekend's games. We just got done covering Friday night football. I can't say Friday night because we've got 3 or 4 games going on tonight in the Central Texas area. It's Midway getting ready to kick off in about 45 minutes. But getting you guys set up for week 2 in high school football here in the Central Texas area. A lot of good games coming on this weekend, and I'm super excited to be able to watch. Also, we've got a slate of good games going on the college side, and I want to be able to go over to that, starting with your Baylor Bears. So Baylor is coming off of a loss last week to what I think is going to end up being an underrated Auburn team if Jackson Arnold can duplicate some of the success he had against Baylor. I think their defense is ready to go. I think they have a pretty good defense, even though Sawyer Robinson, did what he did against their defense. We weren't able to stop the run, and that's the reason Baylor lost. It comes down to that. And it wasn't the traditional just running the ball up the middle. Their quarterback was able to get loose. Their running backs, multiple, were able to get loose. They had multiple guys that rushed for over 50 yards. 3 guys rushed for over 50 yards in this game for the Auburn Tigers. Now, how does Baylor respond from that is the question. This week, a different matchup of styles. Last week, they got some power. They're going to get some finesse this weekend, taking on the SMU Mustangs. One of my favorite teams to watch with one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch in the nation, and Kevin Jennings. A guy that I think gets overlooked when we get to talking about all these different quarterbacks in the nation. Kevin Jennings, I think, is a premier playmaker as well. Jackson Arnold rushed for, 130 yards against the Baylor Bears last week. They've got to find a way to keep contained this week, because I'm telling you right now, if Jackson Arnold, and there's no slight at Jackson Arnold, he's a good athlete, but if he rushed for 130 on you, and you're getting ready to play an athlete like Kevin Jennings, you got to be ready, locked in, and ready to go. On the Baylor side of things, I think their offense has to be able to run the ball a little bit better than what they did last week. But the passing game, if the passing game can stay near the same, that's the thing I took away most that I liked about Baylor, about their performance against Auburn. Not only was the passing game good, but they were able to spread the ball out to multiple different guys. Sawyer Robinson threw for over 400 yards against Auburn. I expect him to have another good game against SMU. SMU's got a pretty good defense. I think Auburn's defense is better than SMU's. I expect Bryson Washington to have a better game. I expect us to see more of the breakout freshman Caden Knighton, who scored in their game against Auburn. And I expect us to see more of these pass catchers for the Baylor Bears be able to continue what they already did. Cole Wilson, the newcomer, a guy that kind of, I don't want to say swept under the rug, but there were other transfers that kind of overshadowed him. Kobe Prentice being one of those guys coming from Alabama. Cole Wilson is a guy. We watched him be able to stretch the field multiple times for the Bears. Michael Trigg is living up to the Michael Trigg hype for Baylor now. When they got him out of the transfer portal from Ole Miss a couple of years ago, last year he kind of battled through injuries, wasn't able to get his rhythm going all the way. I think this is going to be a big year for Michael Trigg. Him and Sawyer Robertson seem to be on the same page, a guy that got a lot of targets, so that means Sawyer Robertson is looking for him. 99 yards and a touchdown in his win, in the loss versus Auburn. Ashton Hawkins is a guy that I think could be a game changer for the Bears. They did not get him back until a few weeks before the season started. He was battling in court, trying to get that last year eligibility. Was granted his last year eligibility. He could be a game changer. He is an all-around receiver for the Baylor Bears. He's an all-around guy. You can get him in the quick game. He's a guy that can beat you long. This is a guy that can make plays. He's got huge hands. He's got a big catch radius as well. I like Ashton Hawkins in this offense. And then the last guy in the offense, which is usually the first guy we talk about in this offense, Josh Cameron. Josh Cameron is still a premier target in college football. Last year he had his breakout season. Even though he only had 2 catches in in the loss versus Auburn, I still expect him to have another really good year, along with Kobe Prentice as well on that offense. So Baylor's offense is loaded. If this offensive line can hold up and block for Sawyer Robertson, we're going to see numbers from Sawyer that we saw on last Friday, I believe, the entire season. If they can continue to block, the guys are going to do the work, man. You just got to all he's got to do is get the ball out. Well, all those guys I just named have taken to the house ability. There's not many teams in the nation that have 4 or 5 guys that could be a number one on a team. And I believe that's what the Baylor Bears have. Trigg, Cole Wilson, Josh Cameron, Kobe Prentice, Bryson Washington out of the backfield, Caden Knighton, just a true freshman already making plays for this Baylor team. Baylor's offense is loaded and ready to go. For that reason, I'm picking Baylor in this game now. Of course, yeah, y'all are saying, you picked them against Auburn. I did pick them against Auburn. They weren't as far off as what some people may have thought it looked like in Auburn. Baylor had a 3-0 lead and was on the goal line with a chance to go up 10-0 in that first quarter when they weren't able to convert on 4th down as he was looking for Michael Trigg. That changed the game and kind of flipped the momentum on his backside, got the momentum going towards Auburn. But that was a close game that they were in. I think this is going to be a tougher offense for Baylor's defense to play. That's who's got to really strap up and come to play. Their defense is going to get tested even more. Last week, they just couldn't stop the run. This SMU offense is going to test you doing everything. Throwing the ball, passing the ball, whatever you could think of, this offense is going to test you. So the Baylor's defense has got to step it up a notch. Keaton Thomas led the defense last week, 15 tackles. He's ready to go. He's a preseason All-American. He's locked in, and he's ready to go already playing in what seems like midseason form. Can the rest of these guys for Baylor step up? We watched Phoenix Jackson was able to get in on a lot of action last week. Can their pass rushers, Matthew Fobbs-White, who got a sack last week, can those guys go out and continue to put up good numbers or put up even better numbers? Can the secondary hold up against what's going to be a very formidable passing attack of the SMU Mustangs? In this game, SMU is favored. They are a 2.5-point favorite against this Baylor Bears team. I'm going to take the Bears, even on the road. I think if Baylor can run the ball, it'll be too much for SMU's defense to try to stop. All in all, this is going to be a really fun game, though. This is going to be a fun game to watch. And it's kind of going to start off a lot of our Saturdays at that 11 o'clock spot. It's week 2 in college football. So week 2, there starts to be some drop-off. Week 1, they have the big games, the Texas-Ohio States, the LSU Clemsons. Week 2, everybody kind of dies down some as teams start to play smaller level schools. Penn State's playing FIU. Texas is playing San Jose State. Florida State is playing East Texas A&M. So you see those smaller schools start to creep in here in week 2 and start to get games against the bigger schools. But this SMU Baylor game is going to be one of the better games of the weekend. You get it early, 11 o'clock. I like Baylor in this game, but I could just be being a homer. So I'm not going to give you guys any advice on who to pick for those of you that like to get in on the spreads or on the points. The over-under total for points is 63.5. That lets you know Vegas is thinking like me. This is going to be a shootout. I think this is going to be a shootout. This is a game that could come down to whoever has the ball last. 2 of the premier quarterbacks in college football with Kevin Jennings and with with Kevin Jennings and with Sawyer Robinson on the other side. I really like what these guys have been able to do so far, and I think this is going to be a shootout game, and I'm excited to see it at 11 o'clock on the CW network. I thought CW just showed team drama shows, but apparently Baylor versus SMU is going to be on there as well. So we'll be tuning in to that game. Let's look at some of these other games going on in college football for this weekend. Some other good games that I'm excited to watch. Illinois versus Duke also play at 11 o'clock. Now, these are the good games for this weekend, y'all. I know it's not going to look like Clemson LSU. I know it's not going to look like Miami Notre Dame, but we still get football. These are the games for the true football fans, the real football fans, not just the ones that show up or that want to watch the big games that are on ESPN at nighttime. The ones that want to watch the games in the trenches that are going to tell you something about the games later on in the season. That's why I like watching these type of games. Illinois versus Duke is one of those games that I'm super excited to watch, even though it's not what some would consider a star-studded matchup. This Illinois team is ranked. This Illinois team has a lot of expectation this season playing in the Big Ten that is not wide open, but if your spots, 4 through 6 or 7, those spots are wide open. Obviously, Ohio State's going to be at the top. Penn State's going to be at the top. Oregon is probably going to be at the top. But for everybody else, there's room for you to take up those spots. I think 4 teams are probably going to get into the college football playoffs from the Big Ten again. Michigan will be fighting for a spot. Indiana will be fighting for a spot. Illinois is right in the mix with those teams in the Big Ten to be able to fight for those spots, man. And I like this team. Illinois has got playmakers on both sides of the ball, but I'm picking the upset in this game. Illinois is a 2.5-point favorite against Duke. I'm taking Duke. I'm taking Duke at home, and I'm talking about Duke football. We're not talking about the basketball team. We're talking about Duke football, and I like this Duke team for this year. They're 1-0. They've got Darian Mensah, the transfer from Tulane, who I think is a budding young star. So there's a reason that they let Malik Murphy walk and go to Oregon State, even though he had a really good year for the Blue Devils last year. It's because they were getting Darian Mensah. They paid him a few $1 million to come out there to Duke and play. And he is a really good quarterback that I think can actually turn around this Duke program. Not turn around like they're going to turn into Alabama, y'all. I'm just saying for his time period of him being there, Darian Mensah is going to have this team competitive in the ACC against teams like Clemson, against teams like Miami, against teams like Florida State. We watched what Florida State was able to turn around and do this year, well, at least in the opening game against Alabama, versus last year where they only won 2 games, mainly because of a quarterback. Tommy Castellanos out there at Florida State. I think Darian Mensah is just like that. We could see this Duke team go from having a good year last year to having a great year this year. They've got guys on both sides of the ball. They've got one of the most underrated secondaries in the NCAA in Power 4 football. Darian Mensah can get this offense going, can make this an explosive offense. I'm taking Duke at home on the upset. Illinois is a 2.5-point favorite. I like Duke plus 2.5 in this game, man. You call me crazy or whatever, but I like Duke in this game. I think it's going to be an upset. Illinois is a good team. Illinois has still got to prove it to me. Do I think Illinois will be good in the Big Ten? Absolutely. They got to prove it to me for the rest of these guys, though. Especially with them being ranked as high as they are, I think Illinois has got to come out. They're going to want to put on a strong showing. But I got Duke in the upset, man. I like Duke in this game. That's the other early 11 o'clock game. Let's look over at some of these other games for the rest of the day. Also playing at 11 o'clock, Iowa and Iowa State. This is a rivalry game, obviously, because what other teams in Iowa are you going to be a rival with? Never mind. I think there's a Northern Iowa, but they can't. they can't be a rival of Iowa or Iowa State. This is going to be a hard-nosed matchup, like it always is. 2 tough teams, Iowa and Iowa State. 2 blue-collar teams, I guess you could say. 2 teams that want to run the football. I'm taking Iowa State in this game. I think Iowa does have a pretty decent team this year. I think they are going to be improved from their record last year, even though they're losing the services of Caleb Johnson, who's going to end up being one of the better backs in the NFL. they can rush the ball, I think Iowa will be okay for the year. But in this game, I'm taking Iowa State. We look at what they did last week. We look at what they did in the season opener in week 0 out there in Dublin versus Kansas State. They beat Kansas State so bad that we saw dads and sons fighting in the stands. Shout out to Avery Johnson, man. Hopefully they was able to work that out. But Iowa State was able to put on a good show. Rocco Beck already picking back up where he left off last year. He's already thrown for 460 yards and 5 touchdowns so far this season. Hanson at running back, I think is going to be a guy this year as well. Rocco Beck, if he can get his ball to his playmakers, I think Iowa State is going to be just fine in this game as they take on, I'm assuming their biggest rival. I can't imagine who would be a bigger rival for them than Iowa. But nonetheless, one of their rivalry games taking on Iowa also at 11 o'clock. So we're going to have a lot going on at 11 o'clock. If you're like me, you'll find that multi-view and try to catch as many of these games as you can at the same time to try to keep up with everything going on as well. I will definitely be tuned into them. All roads lead to the night game in this game. We got a great weekend of football coming up, guys. Tonight, Eagles, Cowboys. Tomorrow, we get the Chiefs. We get Friday Night Football as well. Saturday, we get in what I think is going to be a really good game in Oklahoma versus, see what time they play, Oklahoma versus Michigan in Norman, Oklahoma at 6:30 on ABC. I think that's going to be a really, really fun game as well. But we get that game on Saturday night. Sunday night, we get Bills versus Ravens. Monday night, we get Bears and Packers, I think. So, I mean, hey, great weekend of football lined up for us. Let's go over to this Michigan and Oklahoma game. Oklahoma versus Michigan, both these guys 1-0 to start the season off. Oklahoma is a 5.5-point favorite, and that it would be my bet as well. I'm taking Oklahoma in this game. Michigan had its moments where it looked good last week. True freshman Bryce Underwood, I think, is going to turn into a stud at the quarterback position. I was upset when he flipped from LSU last year to go to Michigan, but I understood it as he's from Michigan out there. And it was a wide open spot, man. Michigan hadn't been able to figure the quarterback spot out since McCarthy and those guys won a natty a couple of years ago. Oklahoma is the home team. I'm taking Oklahoma because they're at home, and I'm taking Oklahoma because I think John Mateer, by the end of the season, is going to be a household name in college football. He's a guy that everybody doesn't know right now because he played at Washington State. Go and look at his film from last year at Washington State. Put up monster numbers week in and week out. Now coming to Oklahoma and what's going to be a loaded Oklahoma offense. Once again, this offense is always loaded. Yeah, they lost guys in the transfer portal. Nick Anderson transferred out. Farik transferred out. But they always bring guys in. We know they're going to have a lot of speed, and we know they're going to run the football with the great stable of backs that they have there. I mean, they got Jaden Ott from Cal, was one of the biggest transfer portal moves outside of John Mateer coming there. For those reasons, I like Oklahoma in this game. John Mateer is going to finish this season as a top 3 quarterback in the nation, I believe. Could be number 1. That's how highly I think of John Mateer. As bad as Oklahoma was last year, I think they're going to be reverse that. They're going to be way better than they were last year and possibly have one of their best seasons. And it's because of John Mateer. We'll all get a chance to see him on the big stage this weekend playing Michigan. Michigan, we know we're going to have a good defense. We know they got a good stable of backs as well. Bryce Underwood, a young quarterback. What can this defense do for Oklahoma, who's got one of the best defensive lines in the country? What can they do on the other side to make the young freshman uncomfortable? I think Oklahoma's going to come out with a victory in this game at night. Those are some of the games that I like for this weekend. Arizona State, Mississippi State, I think is going to be a good game as well. Kentucky versus Ole Miss, I think will be a pretty decent game as well for tomorrow's slate. And I'm interested to watch. I got Oregon winning this, but Oklahoma State versus Oregon. I want to see a little bit more of this Oklahoma State team to see what they're going to look like this year in the Big 12. Those are some of the games, though, I'm looking forward to watching this weekend in college football. Like I said, great slate of games for this weekend. Starting tonight with the Cowboys, moving on all the way through Friday. We got Friday Night Football, slate of games on Saturday, full NFL coverage and action on Sunday, which is always great. And then we get the Monday night game only two days off during the week with no football now. It's Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So that's a good part of the year for me. Folks, we're going to take one more break here on Centex Primetime. When we come back, Cowboys versus Eagles tonight. That game getting ready to kick off in under an hour now. I like this matchup tonight. Obviously, it's the Cowboys versus Eagles. And I like a few more of these matchups coming up in week one in the NFL. We'll give you guys some more coverage of that. We'll also have a couple of quick takes about what's going on around the world of sports here. So stay locked in with us here on Centex Primetime. We'll be back after this last break.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, founder and CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jalen Gillis. You may know me from Centex Sports Network. We're starting a new platform, Recruit 254. Our mission is to highlight the amazing student athletes of 254. So if you're in the Waco, Killeen, Temple, Mart, Marlin, or any surrounding 254 areas, follow this platform and join the movement. Recruit 254. 254, let's run it up.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. Thanks, everybody, for sticking in with us here as we're at the final part of the show tonight. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. As always, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube, Centex Sports TV. You can see my at the bottom ticker there for Instagram at Jalen Gillis. You'll see me on all my social medias at Jalen Gillis. You'll be able to find me there as well. Well, folks, told me some type of game is going on tonight. Supposed to have America's team, as Rocky emphatically calls him and wants us to call him as well. And also, we've got the defending Super Bowl champs in the Philadelphia Eagles. All roads lead to tonight to start off the NFL season, and I cannot wait. I love high school football and college football, but the apex for me is when NFL season starts, because that means all of the football is going at once. High school, college, pro. We get all the football at once, man, and that's a great time of year if you're a football fan like myself. Tonight at 7:20, Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, the Cowboys have been in the news, as they always are, for multiple reasons. This time is because of the feud between Michael Parsons and Jerry Jones that led to the trade of Michael Parsons. Now, we talked about the trade earlier this week, talked about the trade last week as it happened. I still don't think it was the greatest move for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, all week I've heard people not change their stance, but I've heard people come up with reasons. Micah can't defend the run. You get him out of here because he can't. All of that is cool. Fine and dandy. Only person got more sacks than Micah Parsons through 4 years is Reggie White. Reggie White might be the best defensive football player ever. I ain't saying that's going to be Micah Parsons. I'm just saying that those were his contemporaries, and that's who he was being compared to because of the production he had that early. Was he great against the run? No. But is his job to stop the run? No. That's my point for all the people of the, you got to be able to stop the run. You can't have a guy that's one-dimensional out there. Why not? There's plenty of defensive tackles that can't rush the passer. There's plenty of safeties that can't tackle great. Guys get paid for their production. He is paid to rush the passer. That's what he did very well. That's what he's doing very well. And now he's on the Green Bay Packers. But all of that is behind us now. And now we have a game for tonight, the Cowboys versus the Eagles. Eagles, this line opened up at about 3.5, 4. It's already up to 8.5 now after the Micah Parsons trade. Now that's where I have to step in and say, hold on, guys. Let's hold our horses here. I've got Philadelphia winning tonight. It's banner night. It's ring night. All of that stuff, all that good stuff. They're playing at home. Super Bowl champs, and they're just better than the Cowboys. But I do think this is going to be a very competitive game. There's a lot of people just thinking, oh, this could be a blowout tonight. They're going to do this. They're going to run all over them. Expect the Dallas Cowboys to score the football tonight. Not just saying that because I have Dak Prescott starting in my fantasy league and I need him to score tonight. But that's what I think about this Cowboys offense. If they can get any type of form of a running game between Javonte Williams, Phil Maffa, Jaden Blue, whoever they tried out there at running back. If they can get some type of running game going, I think this Cowboys offense is not only going to be good tonight, I think it's going to be good all season. CeeDee Lamb is unguardable. We know that. We know what CeeDee Lamb is on that side. Now you add in a George Pickens to just open up the field even more. It opens up the run game. It opens up the passing game. They still have the good check down passes that they'll be able to get to their tight ends, to Ferguson. The Cowboys offense can be good, y'all. Now, I mean, like I said, I don't expect them to win tonight. 8.5 points is a lot of points. For those of y'all that's trying to jump in on the spread, it's probably too late. NFL spreads, you got to get in a little bit early. You start picking right before the game, you're going to find yourself in a pickle. I think the Cowboys are better than an 8.5 point underdog tonight. Now, could this game get out of hand? Absolutely. They go down a couple of scores, the game is over. It's a wrap. Put the dirt on top. Because they're going to run that ball with Saquon Barkley behind that big offensive line. Now that offensive line has had changes to it. No Mekhi Becton. He's gone. He got paid. He's out of there. No Landon Dickerson, which was huge. I think Saquon rushed for almost 1,000 yards just behind Landon Dickerson last year. So that's going to be huge for them. I still think, Philly will be dominant in this game. They'll be able to win. Will it be a blowout? I don't think so. Now, that's just my opinion. I don't think it'll be a blowout. Could it turn into a blowout? Absolutely. Like I said, they get down a couple of scores. They start handing that ball to Saquon Barkley. They start doing the tush push with Jalen Hurts. They're going to control the ball and control the offense and control time of possession. That's the way it can end up being a blowout. But I expect Dallas's offense to be pretty good, man. Like I said, I expect them to go back and forth in this game. Can they get any production out of Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and Jaden Blue? That's the question. If they can get any production out of those guys, I think they'll be okay. I think we'll see Dak return to the year he had a couple of years ago when he was in the MVP conversation. I never thought he was going to be the MVP. For those of y'all that kept blowing me up and saying Dak should have been the MVP. I don't think so. But I think we see him return to that type of form. And maybe even better now that he's got a guy like George Pickens out there. Maybe even better now that they was able to keep Jake Ferguson. They were able to draft Tyler Booker on that offensive line. I think the offensive line is obviously going to have some holes. Zach Martin's gone. The days of Zach Martin and Tyron Smith and all those guys, that's over with. But they're retooling. They got Tyler Smith now. They have Tyler Booker now. I think that those are going to be two cornerstones for this offensive line, every time the Cowboys have a really good offensive line, the Cowboys are good. They're not winning Super Bowl good, but they're good. And for that reason, I like Eagles tonight, but I'm tempted to take Dallas in that 8.5 points, man, because I think that game can be a lot closer than what it is. Want to go over to a couple of quick takes, y'all, while we have some time left on the show before we break down a couple NFL games. First off, shout out to Amari Cooper, man. He is retiring from the league. Got a chance to sign with the Raiders, the team that drafted him. They cut him, and he said after that he no longer has a desire to play football and has retired. 5-time Pro Bowler, over 700 receptions, over 10,000 yards, 64 receiving touchdowns, and that's just in the league. We know the type of work that he put in at Alabama. Him and Julio Jones were part of that first batch of really great Alabama receivers that ended up turning into a long run of really good Alabama receivers. Amari Cooper was a part of that and might be right at the top of that list. A lot of people in Alabama's camp that have been covering or been a part of Alabama for years will say Amari Cooper is the best receiver out of that group, out of all those guys, man. So shout out to Amari Cooper on his retirement. We got to talk about this Kawhi Leonard situation. Those of you that don't know, Pablo Torre, who is now a sports investigator, I believe is what he put his title on. He used to work for ESPN and all this kind of stuff. He reported on his podcast that the Clippers were paying, or well, let's not say the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard had an endorsement deal with some type of lawn care company that ended up being a shell company, a fake company, according to Pablo Torre. This is not according to police reports or anything like that. But according to Pablo Torre, this is a company that was just a fake company, stand-up company, in order to pay Kawhi Leonard. With this company, Kawhi Leonard had a $28 million endorsement deal. Doing their back search and their history that Pablo Torre did, finds out Steve Ballmer, who's the owner of the Clippers, owns this said fake company that's giving him an endorsement deal. So that would mean that the Clippers essentially are paying Kawhi Leonard under the table, outside of the salary cap, almost $28 million. If this story is true that Pablo Torre posted, this is huge. It's going to shake up not just the Clippers, it's going to shake up the NBA. This story is true. Kawhi Leonard is done. He's never going to play in the NBA again, which I'm sure he has no problem with, zero problem with, because we've seen Kawhi Leonard miss games all the time. He gets hurt every single year. We see him hanging out in Costa Rica looking homeless a lot. I'm sure he has no problem with that. And he still got that $28 million at the end of the day. So he don't care. But for Steve Ballmer, if this is true, if these allegations are true, Kawhi Leonard is going to be out the NBA. He's going to be banned. Steve Ballmer is going to be forced to sell his team. Now, we know, those of us that are sports fans and basketball fans, how much this team means to Steve Ballmer. They just built the brand new stadium that for the first time gives the Clippers their own arena. The arena he built out in Inglewood. I think they're going to get rid of Ballmer. They're going to force him to sell the team. He's going to be banned from the NBA. And if we thought the Clippers were in the shadow of guys before, they're going to be fully submerged in the shadow of the Lakers at this point, if this happens. Steve Ballmer was one of the best things that happened to them after they made Donald Sterling sell their team. Steve Ballmer came along. He wants to win. He put his money where his mouth was, on and off the court, apparently. And they're going to make him sell the team. This is going to be huge. It sounds like a small story as of right now. It's not necessarily a small story. Sounds like not so big of a deal. If these allegations come out to be true, Clippers are done. Clippers are done. Steve Ballmer's done. Kawhi Leonard is done. Torrey cited a trove of internal documents from the company Aspirations, which Ballmer partially funded with $50 million investment through his personal LLC. Later that month, the Clippers announced a $300 million partnership with what was now Aspiration Bank, including a sponsorship in team's new arena and a jersey patch. If this comes out that this fake, that these are fake, a fake company, fake document, fraudulent documents, yeah, the Clippers are cooked, man. They're cooked. Kawhi's done. I think this is the end of Kawhi regardless. Kawhi Leonard's done. He's going to retire. Steve Ballmer's going to be forced to sell the team. The Clippers are going to be an afterthought once again, even though they're already an afterthought. And I hope Ty Lue finds some way to get out of his contract and get out of L.A. I know James Harden doesn't care. He's got money. He's in L.A. They paid him a bag to stay out there. There's plenty of strip clubs in L.A., so I know James Harden will be fine out there. Hopefully Ty Lue can get out when all of this stuff hits the fan. And it's just a couple of months out from the season starting, so I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about that as well. Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford still scheduled to fight in just a few weeks in what is going to be a blockbuster fight. I know everybody wants to talk about the Tank versus Jake Paul thing. I don't care about the Tank versus Jake Paul. I hope they don't even fight, actually. I hope they do fight, actually, so Tank can get paid after he knocks out Jake Paul. But I don't care anything about that fight. This is the fight. This is going to be the fight of the year. Canelo, already a favorite in this game. Minus 175 are the betting odds right now. Crawford a plus 140. I'm telling you right now, get in on that plus 140 before it changes. For those of y'all that like to do a little sports betting in this game or on boxing. Canelo odds to win by KO or TKO. Got plus 375 odds as Crawford's got plus 900 odds in this one. That fight just a couple of weeks away, man. I'm excited. We get a real boxing match. I feel like every time we look up, it's Jake Paul fighting somebody old or fighting somebody that's not even a boxer. So now we get some for real deal boxing. All the rest of the boxers, I'm not going to call them scary, but they're running from each other right now. We can't get Tank versus Haney. We can't get Shakur versus Haney. We can't get any of these fights that we want to see. Instead, we keep seeing Jake Paul thrown into the mix. Thank you, Terrence Crawford and Canelo, for giving us a real fight to look forward to, man, and I'm definitely excited to look forward to for that one. Week 1 right around the corner, y'all, starts tonight, but the rest of the games will resume on Sunday. NFL record for this year, 16 black quarterbacks starting in Week 1 in the NFL is an NFL record, man. That is history being made. We've come a very long way from the time of Doug Williams being the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl all the way up through now to the point that we can get 16. That's 50% of the teams in the league are starting a black quarterback in Week 1, man. Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, Spencer Rattler, C.J. Stroud, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Mike Penix, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, Cam Ward, Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, and Geno Smith for the Las Vegas Raiders. That's huge, y'all. I love seeing stuff like that, man. Seeing where that position has evolved from a position that was riddled with prejudice, riddled with gatekeeping, not allowing guys to play the position that we know could play the position. They wanted to change Lamar all the way in 2017 to a receiver. And you'd think they would have learned their lesson after seeing what Cam Newton did and Michael Vick was able to do and Randall Cunningham was able to do. Steve Air McNair was able to do. Warren Moon was able to do. Those are some of the pioneers, man. Shout out to those guys for us to be able to get to a day like this where there can be half the league is starting black quarterbacks, half the league. Even in my childhood, it's something I thought I would have never saw. We could count the black quarterbacks on one hand. Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, and it starts getting shaky after that. Now we're at a point where half the league is starting black quarterbacks, man. I love to see it. We talked about Dallas versus Philly already. Friday night, Kansas City versus the Chargers. This is going to be a really fun game. The AFC West is loaded. The Raiders are the worst team in the AFC West, and I think that they're about a 7-win team with this year. And that's saying a lot if your worst team is getting 7 wins. Chargers and the Chiefs both competing for an AFC West title this upcoming year. Justin Herbert, another year in this offense with Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh starting to make more and more of his imprint and mold this team into how he wants to do it. We saw him draft guys like Amari and Hampton. We saw him draft Trey Harris out of Ole Miss as well to try to shore up this offense. This is going to be a really fun game. They're playing in Brazil. I just hope everybody leaves healthy. That's really my only ask of this game. Everybody leaves healthy because we know what it's like when these guys have to play on these other fields. We've seen some injuries with the game of Kansas State versus Iowa State out there in Dublin. Last year, Jordan Love got hurt when they played in Brazil against the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts got hurt. A.J. Brown got hurt in that game. Saquon got tweaked up a little bit in that game. So playing on a new field, man, in a place where they don't play football like that. They play the other football. They play football. So they're not used to having, 200 to 300-pound guys running up and down on this grass. So there's adjustments that have to be made. I'm hoping these guys all come out healthy. But in this game, of course, I like Kansas City to start off the season 1-0. Kansas City, it's crazy that we can almost think of this team as a sleeper because the success they have, we just expect it, and we start to take it for granted. Last year, everyone would say, oh, the Chiefs were mid, didn't have a great year, and they won 15 games and went to the Super Bowl. This team is going to compete for a Super Bowl once again. They've retooled on offense. Rashee Rice, we know, will be suspended, but they got a lot of speed out there. Marquise Brown, the former Baylor Bear, Tyquan Thornton made the 53-man roster. Xavier Worthy running the 4-2, he made the roster. This offense is going to be explosive. And then they got 15. As long as you got 15 and Andy Reid on the sideline, I think those guys are going to be okay. I got Kansas City winning in this game. Some of the matchups I'm interested in watching, obviously, my Houston Texans. They play at 3:30 on Sunday, taking on the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams expected to start Matthew Stafford. We don't know what his health is going to look like. For that reason, I'm taking the Texans. I wasn't going to pick against my team in week 1 anyway. Y'all knew that. But I'm taking the Texans in this game. The Rams are a 3.5-point favorite playing at home. And I really do like this Rams team. If Matthew Stafford could somehow manage to stay healthy, which I don't see how he's going to be able to do if you're getting epidurals before the season starts. But if he somehow finds a way to stay healthy, man, I love this Rams team. The young guys they drafted on the defensive side of the ball last year, like Jared Verse, Brandon Fisk, are studs. Jared Verse is going to be one of the best pass rushers in the league for the next 10 years. That's how highly I think of him. On the offensive side, they lose Cooper Kupp, but they replace him with Devontae Adams. Can't really get much better than that. If you lose a guy like Cooper Kupp and you can replace him with Tay Adams, problem. Puka Nacua is a problem. Kyron Williams, one of the more consistent backs over the last 2 years at the running back position. Whenever he is healthy, he gives you a lot of production in the run and passing game. But I still like the Texans. I think Nick Chubb's going to get the started running back since Joe Mixon is still banged up. I love our receiving room. They just got to keep C.J. Stroud off his back pockets. That's the main thing. Can we keep Stroud off his back pockets? If they're able to do that, I like the Texans in this game being able to come out with a victory. Some more games, fun games that we're going to be able to watch this upcoming Sunday. I want to go over to the Sunday night game. Sunday night, we get a rematch of the divisional round of the playoffs last year, and the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Buffalo to play on Sunday Night Football. The MVP and last year's MVP. The MVP and the runner-up, Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. I think both of these guys are going to have an MVP caliber season once again. It's too early for me to give out any predictions for MVP. I mean, if I had to pick somebody, I'm going to pick Lamar. Should have won it last year. Should have been his third. I think he's going to have another good season. The Ravens are, as of right now, my favorite to come out of the AFC. This team is loaded on both sides of the ball. We saw what Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson were able to do last year. They add in some more guys on the offensive side of the ball, silently almost getting a D-Hop out there. They're bringing back the services of Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. I like what the Ravens are building. I like what they have built. On the defensive side of the ball, what was already a good defense, they struggled at the beginning of the year but really got it together under the coaching of new defensive coordinator Zach Orr, who went to my alma mater in the University of North Texas. This defense is going to be good this year. Matter of fact, I think they might end up being the best defense in the league. When you have an already good defense with guys led by guys like Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton, who I think is one of the best young safeties in the league, and you add a Malachi Starks out the draft, who was one of the best players in the draft and probably the best player in the secondary in the draft. You add a Jair Alexander to what was already a good secondary with Marlon Humphreys and Nate Wiggins. You add Jair in on top of that, man, this Ravens team is going to be good on both sides of the ball. For that reason, I'm picking the Ravens. Even though they're playing at home at Buffalo, Ravens are still a 1.5-point favorite. Buffalo's going to be good again this year as well. Interested to see if Joey Bosa can stay healthy at defensive end for the Bills. He's a game changer if he stays healthy, but health has been a problem for him for the last 3 or 4 years. I like Baltimore in this game, though, playing on Sunday Night Football. Green Bay versus Detroit, a game that was already going to be a good one, but now everybody's going to be watching and anticipating the debut of Micah Parsons. Can he be a game wrecker? This is going to be a battle of two of the top pass rushers in the league. Micah Parsons on one side. On the other side, Aiden Hutchinson returning from injury. Last year, he was hurt halfway through the season, or not even halfway through the season. Really about 5 weeks into the season, he got hurt and was not able to recover He was out for the remainder of the season. They said he could have played if they made it to the Super Bowl. We see that didn't happen, and we saw the drastic difference in the Lions' defense from when Aiden Hutchinson was playing to when he was not. If he's playing, I think he is going to take that crown as the best pass rusher in the league. That's how highly I think of Aiden Hutchinson. He was a monster before he got hurt last year. A monster. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. Jordan Love getting even more weapons out there. Drafting Matthew Golden. First time they took a receiver in the first round in like 20-something years. Jordan Love, we know, is a really talented quarterback, struggles with some health issues and being consistent. Jared Goff on the other side is pretty consistent for the most part. He had those games where he spiraled out of control, like the Washington game in the playoffs when they lost to the Commanders. He had a couple of those games in the regular season as well. I still expect him to be good, even without Ben Johnson. Jahmyr Gibbs has emerged one of the best running backs in the league. They still got a top-tier offensive line. They still got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They still got Sam Laporta. For that reason, I'm taking the Lions. Even though they're playing on the road at Green Bay to start off the season, I like the Lions picking up a win on the road to start it. Tampa Bay and Atlanta should be a really fun game. San Francisco and Seattle should be a fun one as well. I got San Francisco in that game. The Monday night game, Minnesota versus Chicago. What does this new look offense look like under Ben Johnson for Chicago and Caleb Williams? In that preseason game, I believe it was the second one, the Bears looked really good. The Vikings had a great year, probably one of the best years in team history with Sam Darnold on the quarterback. Sam Darnold's in Seattle now. It's time for the J.J. McCarthy era. Can he pick up where Sam left off last year? We'll see. I like Chicago on Monday night, though, playing in Chicago. And there's not a lot of times that I've come on here and picked Chicago to win early. I didn't think they were good last year, even when they went 4-2, I believe it was, and started to fool everybody. I was not fooled. I still thought they was fool's gold, man. But this year they've retooled mainly on the offensive line. They went out in the offseason, spent a lot of money in the offensive line. They went and got Drew Dalman. They went and traded for Joe Thuney, multiple-time Super Bowl champion. They've spent draft capital, the first-round picks over the last couple of years on tackles. That offensive line can hold up for Caleb Williams. They can run the ball with DeAndre Swift. I like the Bears moving forward in this season, and I like them on Monday night as well. So we've got the season opener for the NFL coming up this weekend, folks. Friday night football right here in Central Texas, and also some Thursday night as I'm about to go and watch right now as we get ready to get off the show. Folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here tonight on Centex Primetime. We're out of time. As always, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button, share it with other people. Let them know that we talk about high school sports here. You want to hear some of your loved ones get talked about their performance on Friday night. You'll be able to watch it on Friday Night Flex. We're going to talk about it throughout the week here on Centex Primetime. We're going to talk about it. So make sure you guys subscribe, share this, let guys know about Friday Night Flex tomorrow, 6 to 10 p.m. as we cover all things high school football here in the Central Texas area. We've got MCC volleyball tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Saturday at 1 o'clock. Catch all of that action right here on Centex Sports Network as well. Folks, getting ready to sign off here today.